Hello, everybody. I'm Ed Parcaut, and we're ACES 53. If you don't, and of course, Brian's not here unless all of a sudden he went to gender reassignment surgery today. Usually we don't have you in when we start, but I just felt lonely today, so I thought I'd have you up here with me. Brian Galkey
happy to
is
be
our
here.
normally the host with me Tuesdays and Thursdays, and on today, like Thursday, we have somebody show up to be our joker, which is that person with that unique ability or something they can teach us about that unique ability. And so thank you for being here today, Lauren. And that's it's like I mess this up all the time.
You do. It's okay.
Gaggiolli.
There you go. Like ravioli.
Yeah. I'm consistently bad at names.
Well,
So I do my best. I try and I try. So.
I love it.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and share something I'm oddly passionate about, which is SEO.
Right. So we came together I met you through Podmatch on my Inner Edison podcast, and you were talking about SEO at the end. And I thought it was something that we should share here on ACES 53 and for our audience to understand how important it is. Brian and I've talked about it a little bit, and we've had a few people kind of little bit talk on it, but not the way you were talking on it. And that's kind of how I wanted you to be here today. So I'm just going to ask a couple questions and get going.
Sounds good. Let's dive in.
What do you do for a normal job?
SEO.
This is your normal job.
This is it.
All right. But you hold on. You haven't always been just SEO.
True.
Right? How'd you get to here is a real question, real quick.
Yeah. So I got my start with test prep. I helped kids get ready for the ACT and SAT. And I started in home, sitting across kitchen tables, driving 11,000 miles in 6 months in my last 6 months of working. And that doesn't work when you want to have a family and your husband works a regular 9 to 5 and you're working 3 to 9 every night. So I decided that I needed to do something different, but I had this skill set that I wanted to share. And so I built out an asynchronous course system on higherscorestestprep.com. So, in learning all the things that I needed to do to get asynchronous courses up and running, I happened to follow the breadcrumbs. And I really early on and kind of persistently throughout my career with that company, I was actually doing a lot of organic marketing. I was blogging. I had a podcast about college admissions. I did a number of different things. And the thing that when I went back and looked at it in hindsight before I sold the company, and found was really the most valuable, had the most bang for the buck, which is to say no ad spend, was organic marketing. And that all really came down to understanding timeless SEO principles, writing quality copy, and supporting folks as they traversed this kind of treacherous land of college admissions and help them understand and take the next right step forward. And when I started getting 16,000 inbound leads every month from Google for free, that's when I was able to generate $5,000 to $15,000 in income consistently month over month, while also grabbing that brass ring of the 4-hour work week. So it all kind of coalesced around SEO as the bedrock. And when I sold my company, the traffic was really one of the metrics that was enticing to my buyer.
And well, what happens when you no longer are there to do that, though?
Well, with that company, listen, this is a system that can be learned. Like anybody who says SEO is too prohibitive or too scary, like, I'm sorry, if you're running a business, if you have the chops to run your own company, you have the chops to do this. It's about communicating clearly with your target market. That's it. And then it's the ultimate permission marketing tool because they already asked for it in Google. If you can simply reflect that language that they use back to them and give them the next right step, you're in. That's it, right? Like I have a opt-in on my site that converts at 7% to an email list. Like you aren't going to find those numbers elsewhere. Like it is really powerful, but the only reason it converts is because Google is actually sending people to me, right? So thinking about it through the lens of how do I create a whole system that flows people in and continually dishes up new prospects that then I can serve. Because I think most entrepreneurs have a heart to serve. You know, if you feel like you're screaming into the void, this is the way to sort of flip the script on that.
I think people are just confused by it.
Yeah.
What does it really mean? How do I do it? Because people try to make it so, oh, it's so scary. And you know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
need to know about it. We know everything. You just tell us and we'll take care of it for you. When in reality, it's like we need to understand it so that we can make sure it's being done. One of my biggest problems,
Yes.
one of my biggest problems was when my website was created. In the beginning, it was done right. When they did so many different changes to it, I don't want to say messed it up, but they didn't really focus on, hey, is this SEO friendly? You know, they called it SEO friendly. I'm like,
Right.
what the hell does that mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, we can take a look.
Well, no, I'm
Yeah.
just saying that's one of the things, because my biggest thing is like I could produce a lot of content. I put it
Mm-hmm.
out there, but even producing a lot of content is not that important if you're not getting the people to get their eyes on it. And the reason I
Right.
produced so much content was to get better at it. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't so much to get everybody to jump on every single thing. It was just for me to go through it and be able to talk and understand it, and understand why watching you, what you say and how you do it, where to take that conversation forward. So.
And that's a learned skill. It's something you can only do by practicing. I will say, the thing about SEO that I think is disheartening to me is how many people in the SEO space as providers are bad actors, frankly. Like they know it feels daunting, and so they don't want to educate people about it. And 96.5% of the web pages on the internet are not getting any traffic from organic search. So you can see if you want to be in the very small and successful 3.5% minority, all you have to do is start doing just a little more than you were doing today and understanding what the big rocks are. That's really where we want to focus our attention first. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do everything. But similar to you getting out there, creating content and practicing, that's how I got good at it. I did it with my first company and it paid off. So I think that that's the thing. A lot of folks, they try to make it seem complex. And if you have a really robust website, something that's indexed in many different countries, and you have to like deal with the language and all these other like the really like deep world of doing schema updates and all of that, like listen, there is a very technical component to this, but for most of us, like, especially if we're serving people one on one, we really don't need that much traffic, right? If you assume a 1% conversion from traffic to a purchase, then you actually don't need that many people coming through your door. If you had, 500 people coming through your door every month and you got 5 clients off of that, is that worth it to you? You
Of
start
course it is.
crunching the numbers, you go, oh, right. And then it scales up from there. So that's really the beautiful thing about it is, you see people go viral on social and go, "Oh no, this is my moment. I have arrived. Now what?" And most of them flub it because they don't have systems in place to support it. This is a slow burn. And once you're in Google's good graces, once Google trusts you as an authority, he continues to reward you and he scales up slowly so that you can be ready when the onslaught of traffic starts coming, 6 months from now, 12 months from now.
Why'd you call it a him?
I call him Uncle Google.
I'm just curious.
He's my buddy.
Why did you pick him as a male? That he's a
I
male.
don't know. Good question. Maybe
I
because
just
all the execs at Google were men.
just curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because usually the people who tell us what to do is the females.
I
Anyway.
mean, we can be bossy. Let's be honest.
Yeah. You normally are.
Who run the world?
Women.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you say it's a man. I guarantee it's a woman.
Yeah.
But that's okay. All right, so let's kind of go from here. So what's the first step you should, if you're creating a website or even I mean, I heard even videos you upload, everything you do, because I'm constantly hit up by people going, your SEO is horrible, and they send me pictures. You circle this and they circle this. You're only getting this because of this, this, and this.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing way better than I used to do because
Sure.
somebody else handled it and didn't put any of that stuff in there,
Right.
any of the keywords or any of the
Mhm.
other stuff that used to be there. They never did that. And some of my older stuff on my website is probably worse than it is the newer stuff, but I do the best I can right now.
Yeah, and I think, it comes down to and there's so many things that can impact whether or not you're found in search, right?
Mhm.
What I like to always say is all roads lead to my website. And I know that's not the right thing for social, right? Taking people off platform, not really the thing. And if you have a physical product, I will say if you can sell within the Instagram ecosphere without or ecosystem, that's the word I was going for, without people leaving, and you can process purchases within. If you have something that's very visual, then great. Like that's absolutely a play for social. However, for those of us who are delivering products and services through our websites, it is important to drive traffic to that website. And in order for Google to reward you, your website needs to be foundationally and functionally strong. So it needs to load quickly, it needs to be mobile responsive. You need to have good hosting. You need to have quality keywords tagged in each of your posts, right? You are really structuring your website and creating a hierarchy on your website that makes sense to Google, that Google will understand. And so a website audit is a great place to start, but it can't just be SEO. It can't just be technical. You also have to think about the human user who is coming to your site. So UX becomes really important as a part of the conversation because, yes, in order for Google to rank us, we need to have all the technical I's dotted and T's crossed. But on the human side, once people come to us, how do we then facilitate their transformation and either invite them into our email list or invite them into that paid offering?
Okay. You want to go
Yeah.
with whatever you want to go with?
Yeah. Do you want to take a look at your website?
Sure.
Okay.
Put me on the
So
spot.
just for anybody who's watching, if you want, I have a free DIY website audit. It's a 3-part course. It's super simple. You just go to laurengaggioli.com/DIY audit, and I will walk you through a little bit of what we're going to do today. Um, I've shared my screen. Can you share that to the
Yeah, I should
chat?
be able to add it to the stage.
There we go. Alrighty, so this is your website, and
How
it
could you
looks
tell?
lovely. I this sort of gave it away. um, so initially, what I do is I go to those technical components. I always look through
Right.
the SEO lens first. So what I've done is I've pulled up what is called the PageSpeed Insights report. All right, this is a Google product. And what it does is it takes a look at your website, it crawls your website, and then gives you numbers around the performance. So, what will load initially is the mobile view. Desktop is usually far less scary. So, I think that's why they load mobile first, is to just freak you out. But I use the mobile as sort of the benchmark. Like we want to be, it doesn't have to be perfect, like I said, but the performance here is really lagging. So I'm going to take a look at why in just a second by scrolling down. Okay, so you're on WordPress. Um, and the reason I checked and the reason
Man, is that
that's
blurry or is that my eyes?
this screen here.
It's better now. It's better now.
Okay. Yeah, I pulled up the page
No, what it
source.
is you're on Wi-Fi, aren't you?
I'm not. I think I'm
Oh,
wired.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm pretty sure I am.
Cable
Yeah, I
modem?
am.
Cable?
I don't know. I have no
Well, do you
idea.
have it? Do you have cable or do you have fiber?
I think we're cable.
Yeah. Well, the problem with cable is it's great download, which is for gaming and stuff, but your
Uh-huh.
upload is only like 26. It's horrible. I had c-
Ah,
I had cable forever and got rid of them because of the video lag when we were recording, and
interesting.
went to fiber with AT&T, and I got a gigabyte by a gigabyte, and what a difference that made.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
maybe that's why I'm seeming laggy on your end because
Oh,
I
that's okay.
certainly don't notice it. Sorry.
No, it'll be fine online. It'll be
Okay,
fine when people watch.
perfect. So you are mobile friendly in that your layout doesn't shift when you load on mobile, but you can see you're having a lot of delays on the speed side. Do you know who your web host is?
Yeah, it's through the I can't tell you right now. I'd have to drop out. Let me keep going.
Okay, no worries.
I can tell you in a second.
So the first thing I always ask is who are you hosting your website with? So I use WP Engine. I
So
love
do
them.
I. So do I.
Okay. All right. So I would um consider sometimes this, and this is usually more of an instance for somebody who's built on like a self-host or a hosted service like Squarespace,
Hmm.
Wix. They will load really slow. So we need to go to the source and say, hey,
You're
put
going
me on a better
slow.
server.
Okay.
I don't think that what's going on here is actually your hosting, because if you're with WP Engine, you're probably loading pretty quickly from them. This is probably an on-site code issue. So you've got thread work, JavaScript. Yeah.
What's thread work?
So this is like, as like all of the scripts are loading and that sort of thing, it's like how long it's taking and how like all those different threads are working, right? So as they're all going through, some of them they have to fully load before the next thing can go. It's like a chain reaction. So I believe that that is what's going on here. So yeah, you've got HTML rendering. Yeah. So I think this is stacking. So like this has to happen first, then this, and the cumulative effect is then 10
Slowing everything
seconds.
down.
Yeah. So, um, if you deal with some of this JavaScript issue, the CSS issues, that is going to help. So there's a caching plugin that, again, if you're on Squarespace, I can't give this to you. If you're on Wix, I can't give this to you. But for you, I would recommend downloading WP Rocket and putting that caching plugin into place. You have to do a little optimization to make it all run appropriately, making sure that you're not blocking something that is necessary to your site loading. But you can delay and defer certain code from triggering so that your site, upon initial visit, loads faster. Okay.
What's avoid excesses DOM size?
I don't know what that is. What's DOM? I'm not sure what a DOM is. I don't think I've ever seen this error. Mm,
Does that have to do with video, you think?
in this case, they are calling out a video with this one, the thumbnail. Do you have a video on your homepage?
I have a bunch of them. I have
So
that.
yeah,
That's old. Yeah.
you can lazy load these. And what that does is it tells Google when it sends or what it tells your host when people are sent there the code, it loads just what's in the field of view and defers the other elements that are further down. So what that can do, like you said, that's old. Would you
Oh
be
no, I know.
comfortable deleting it? Like, do you,
No,
there's a
what I
lot of
mean is
ways
I
you can
want to
do
update
this.
it. I'm just if that's been on there for a couple years, so it
Okay.
could be, yeah. I mean, who knows how they coded it originally, right? So
Yeah, let's see. Bum, bum. Not actually seeing. Do you know if that video is actually, does that live on your website? Like, is it uploaded as a media file, or are you pulling it in from YouTube or Vimeo or an offsite host?
I don't know.
Okay. So that's another thing that can help speed things up. If you have the content live elsewhere, especially the bigger files, that can be helpful. But I really think a caching plugin would really support you here with getting rid of quite a bit of this, right? Um, yeah. The style and layout, script evaluation, these feel like code specific. So is your site custom coded or is it a theme? Do you know?
It's a theme.
Okay. You might be able to go back to like your dev, your theme creator. Like you can take it down the line and say, listen, here are the errors, because here's the other beautiful thing for anybody who does this. There's this little copy link. You can send this report and be the squeaky wheel with the providers
Oh,
you've worked with in the past. So you can say, hey, here's this link. Please fix this. And they can go in and speak geek and update. But I will say that caching plugin is super easy to use. It's like $60 a year, I think. I have it on my site and I load it like in mobile. I think I'm like at 98%, something like that, for performance. So it took me from like 60 all the way up. So it took a little toggling, but it's not that hard. Like, you switch things on and then you test it, and then you switch things off if it breaks your code. Like, it's pretty easy to do. Always back up your website before you start playing with this sort of thing.
Of course.
The other thing I would say, yeah, so see this efficient caching policy, you're having a caching issue. And so that would help. Some of these are all related and all fixed by WP
Okay.
Rocket. Um, this is encouraging you to lazy load
Now, is
images.
that WP Rocket?
WP Rocket.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
So WordPress Rocket.
Yeah. I will tell you. Oh, here it is. I was looking for this guy. So WP Rocket has a sister uh, plugin called Imagify. And I'm not on the payroll for these folks. I'm not an affiliate, nothing. I found them to be the easiest to use, and they work in tandem really beautifully. Serving your images in next gen format, meaning WebP format, they have Imagify optimizes all the images on your website in a click. And so this is going to help your foundation of your website just load faster. It allows you to toggle on a lazy load. Although I think WP Rocket has the lazy load functionality. Um, so yeah, I think those two right there would probably clean up a considerable amount of this speed issue. And I think, it would also help you run even faster on desktop, which is not a bad thing. So, a couple of things for you as a content creator, similar to how you host your audio files with Libsyn or whomever. Uh, you can also then leverage YouTube, which is awesome because it's owned by Google, or Vimeo, which is what I use for my gated content. So in my courses, I use Vimeo because the security is stronger. So you can use those to kind of host those big
Right.
files offsite and then just pull them in
And
as
I do that
needed.
on almost all my stuff
Okay,
is
great.
brought in from YouTube. Except I don't know
Fantastic.
about that one main video on the front page.
Yeah. So, I think
But
there's lots of opportunity here, and 2 simple plugins can get you where you need to go, get you almost all the way, I would imagine.
all right. And then all right, so that's just speed.
That's just speed, because Google wants to dish up quality content, and people bail if it takes 10
Too long.
seconds for your website to load. So, the first contentful paint is like, how long does it take for just the first vision of the above the fold site to load? It's taking 3 seconds. So people in today's day and age, they're like, this took a whole second and a half. I'm out. And off they go. So I would recommend really, really kind of focusing on this one, and optimizing for that.
And that would
So
be through the WP Rocket, is what you're saying.
WP Rocket and Imagify.
Yeah.
I think those two could get you significantly faster. So speed is important because that's foundational. That's like, is this site technically sound? Is this site delivered with, quality code and that sort of thing? Um, and then, oops, well, that's weird. The other thing that I did is I pulled up your site in my SEO tool of choice called Ahrefs. I am going to share. Ahrefs has free SEO tools. So for anybody who's curious, I think it's just free SEO. Yeah, there they are. So if anybody's curious and wants to see sort of the baby version of this, I have the paid offering, but the free SEO tools are awesome. This is where you can do keyword research by using their keyword generator. They also allow you to do a website authority check and check traffic. The broken link checker is really helpful, because if you feel like your site's maybe getting dinged because you have links that are pointing to places that don't exist anymore, or internally you're pointing to pages that don't exist anymore, you haven't had a quality redirection practice in the back in the past, then these tools can all help you with a wide variety of different aspects of assessing your website. And that's what I use in the free DIY audit. However, I have the paid version, so let's just, go to the big guns. this is your site and how the metrics that Ahrefs has on it are, showing your site to be performing. So the first thing that I look at is the backlink profile, because Google wants your EEAT to be as high as possible. So your EEAT is not quantifiable, but it essentially has to do with your expertise, your experience, your authoritativeness, and your trustworthiness as a website. It's using a variety of different metrics to sort of assess that. And one of the primary ways that Google says, hey, this site is trustworthy, is by looking to see how many other websites refer to it. And so backlinks from someone else's website that points to your website is really important for your site ranking. Okay. So your domain authority is 5, and your URL authority, that's interesting that it's such a disparity. Usually these are tracking pretty close. So I'm confused as to why your URL authority is so much higher. That's fascinating. Hmm. So there you can
Maybe
see
because
there's
I didn't
quite a
start
gap.
doing the backlinks till later.
Maybe?
Because I've only been doing backlinks for the last 60 days, probably 90 days.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't know
Getting
that.
backlinks from where?
You mean where I'm putting it in putting my website and other things I do, right? That's
I
what you
see.
mean?
Okay, so do you have each of your shows on different domains, or do they all live on this one?
They live, let's see here. They have different domains, but they're tracked back to here.
They all point here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you, like, when you do website or YouTube descriptions for your shows and whatnot, do
Hmm.
you include links back to this site?
Hmm.
Okay. So that's a good practice
But
because,
that's only
again,
new. I didn't
okay.
know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The last probably 90 days I've been doing it.
Okay.
So maybe
Yeah.
that could be the reason.
Well, let's see. We can see the difference last 3 months. Because the other thing is, you don't necessarily know if somebody out there on the internet is linking back to you. Like, you can find it through the tools. You can see where those backlinks come from. If you're over here, if anybody who doesn't have the paid version is curious, you do a backlink checker. And what that'll show you is where people who are just out there in the wild, let's say somebody listens to an episode of your show and writes a blog post about it, or does a video that sort of, examines something that you spoke to, and they reference you. That boosts your perceived authority, right? Because somebody else on a different domain, a property you don't control,
Right.
is referring back to you and saying, hey, this is something I saw, I spent time with, and I entered into conversation with. So that's why podcasting as a guest is a really powerful tool to actually build your credibility and build your backlinks. Because when people do show notes and they link back to your website, it gives you a little bit of link juice that then ups your authority.
Gotcha. Because
Yeah.
and again, that I haven't been doing. I've only been doing that for the last, I don't know, 9 months to a year, being on other people's podcasts.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's starting to grow. So how long have you owned and had a website on this domain?
Ed Parcaut.
Hmm.
I've had this one for 3 years.
Okay. And a website has been live on it the whole time? It wasn't like a referral?
Yeah, it started in probably 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So three years. That's awesome. And you can see in the last 3 months, your domain, your what they call your Ahrefs authority, or your Ahrefs rating. Of all of the websites in the world, you are now the 36th millionth. Excuse me. So, and you're up 500,000 in the last 3 months. So I think
Is that
that's
good?
probably pointing to, yeah, hey, any upward trend is good. Um, but yeah, I think that's going to the fact that you're building those backlinks. You have 30 more backlinks in the last 3 months than you had prior to it. So that's a considerable amount for just 3 months. and you have 27 different referring domains. So you're at a like what? 3.5 per domain is what you're getting back. So, for example, if in a show notes, somebody points back to my website and does 3 different pages on my website, then that referring domain, there's a single web page pointing back to me, but it's pointed to 3 uh, different instances on my website. And so that's helpful because Google goes, okay, like some people own multiple websites and then just like give themselves backlinks constantly. If you have, one referring domain and 153 backlinks, that's not as powerful as having 5 domains with 5 backlinks because 5 different disparate properties are pointing back. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So yeah, the ratio of referring domains to backlinks is kind of important, but this does not look out of whack to me. It doesn't look like, ooh, like Google's going to ding you for that. Now, here's where things always get sticky for folks. Like it looks like you're not getting any organic traffic from Google and you are ranking for 10 keywords. So it looks like in the last 3 months, you may have lost 10 keywords. But if we go into the organic keywords that you are ranking for, Joel Weldon. So
Mhm.
people are searching for him and his name is in the URL, which is awesome. They're searching Joel Weldon speaker and they're finding you. You're in the 20th position of the search engine results pages. So you can see it's your guests that are elevating you. Yep. Pezons. So property. Yep. That's getting you in the SERPs for this.
That's all my.
Yeah. Now, this is an interesting one. Mortgage broker, Modesto, California. You were ranking for this and then you lost it. It was pointing straight to your homepage.
How did I lose it?
So
Because it's
it's a
not in
great
the.
question. It does fluctuate. So what I will say is like it is very easy to come in and get a granular, view of what's going on. And then you go, well, like nothing changed. Why did that go away? So what I would say is hold on a second. So you have mortgage broker, mortgage is heavily represented here. Mortgage services is Modesto is listed here. Okay. So here's the thing. If you drop out of the SERPs and you notice it, you can go, wait a minute. That actually is an appropriate term for me. You can make it clearer to Google. So what I would do is say something like here with your get in touch, you could say let's connect. Hold on, I gotta inspect this. All right, H2. All right. You can get in here and optimize this to be clear about what it is you do. So if you are in Modesto, California and are interested in mortgage services, I can help you, right? Put your information below and I'll be in touch.
So instead of get in touch, you put that little paragraph what you just said.
Yeah, being a little more dialed in with what it is you do. And that again this is sort of where the intersection of SEO and UX kind of comes into play because you know what you do. However, you have so many podcasts, you have so many different things you have your hands in that it can be a little bit tricky for somebody to understand what they're getting in touch about if they put that information there, right?
Right.
So if you go through and start adding more of those keywords, so this comes down to sort of a next here, which is saying, okay, mortgage broker, Modesto, California. It's super easy to rank for it, which is good to know. It has 40 searches a month. Okay. So the keyword difficulty is 4. Keyword difficulties on a scale of 0 to 100. And the search volume is the average monthly query in how many times per month does somebody type mortgage broker Modesto, California into Google. And so the monthly average is 40, which you can say, all right, if I can get 40 people per month coming to my door for those services, would that be worth it to me? Probably.
Yep.
Um, so the other thing I would say is under mortgage services, do you have like a core page for this, or is it just the drop downs
Each one. If you click on mortgage services, it'll take you to that page.
to the VA home loans?
Oh,
Okay. So
I can't touch it. So if you click on that, does it take you to?
it's taking me
No.
to VA home loans.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you could do is opt to create kind of this core page or a pillar page in sort of SEO lingo that targets a particular keyword. And this might be the place to really optimize for mortgage services Modesto, California.
And then get and contact me on this
And you could
page.
have the contact me on this page. So just to sort of give you a flashpoint to show you a different way to do this. On my site, I'm logged in, so weird stuff might start to happen, but you can see in my header how I cleaned it up. And what I wanted to do, because once you start ranking in Google, you're ranking more granularly. As you already saw, you're ranking for your guest names. So people are actually coming in through the window. They're not coming through the front door and coming to your homepage. They're starting to crawl into the window. So, what I didn't want to happen was that when people came here, that they would look at this and let's say they searched UX and SEO. They end up on this page. I didn't want them to come here and see homes, services, courses, you know, about me. I wanted them to see I'm in the right place. Oh yeah, I'm here to learn and love SEO. Okay, this person does that. Whereas if somebody comes in on one of my purpose based posts, they still see the content they're searching for reflected up there. And so, what this does is it creates a pillar page, which is what I would recommend for you around mortgage services. That instead of having carrots and drop downs, people can come in here. There's information and context and questions answered about what organic marketing is, and then it's broken down into more subtle and discreet um, elements of organic marketing, timeless SEO principles, SEO case studies, and obviously there's room to grow here, right? There's more content that I can create. My organic marketing course that teaches SEO to entrepreneurs is here. If people click through, then they can come in here and get to the course page. But you can see that it's if somebody searches organic marketing ecosystem and lands on this sales page, they still can sort of orient themselves to, oh, yeah, this is SEO for a digital entrepreneur. And it sort of dials them in immediately. So, one thing you could think about is potentially making these a little more clear and discreet. Like, here's my pillar page with all these components that live on it. So that when people come here and they go, mortgage services is what I'm looking for, it pops out a little bit more. They don't have to make a choice before clicking through. It can tell everything about all the different ways you provide mortgage services in Modesto. You could embed your Google business listing here. You could do all sorts of different things.
So pretty much the approach page should
Mhm.
be over there, is what we're saying.
What is the approach page?
Click on it. I can't click on it.
Yes.
Because you have it. So this is about me and my mortgage professional stuff.
Oh, perfect. So you already have this page. We just need to like make this more clear because Google doesn't know what this means, right?
Right.
But if you made this
Mortgage services.
services, and if you're not locked into Modesto as your service area, you don't have to put it in there. But you could say, you could make that your URL. So you already have the content. You just have to sort of do a little retooling in the header. And this is
Right.
where the user experience side of SEO comes into play because what Google wants to do is send people who need the solution you have to your digital doorstep right at the moment they have that problem. And so if you can be really clear in sort of raising your hand and saying, this is it, this is the thing, then that can be powerful to the end user, right? They are, again, coming in through the window, not the front door, because that's where Google's going to send them, to that more granular piece of content. But I think if you even like
Well,
maybe
I'm already
10,
thinking I need to put radio and the podcast stuff together under one
yep,
page.
yeah,
Media services or something like that, or media. I don't know what to call it.
yeah. So you have an interesting and kind of awesome problem that I think a lot of entrepreneurs have, which is that we're multi-passionate, right? We're not single threaded, right? We have all our hands in a lot of different cookie jars. But
Right.
how can you make it really clear? So like again, I'll go back here, you know, I have a purpose course. I have an SEO course. Those two do not, they technically could be different websites, but I want a single robust website so that I don't feel like I'm pulled in 53 different
Right.
directions.
And
So it's
that's how I
thinking
want
about
it.
where these
Yeah.
all live.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because one of the things I don't mean, I'm sorry I cut you off, but
No, it's
that's
okay.
exactly what now that I'm doing so much with podcasting and
Mhm.
it's still part of the radio show, but people, I'm doing other stuff. It'd be nice. I don't want to have another, even though Big Hangry Media is my media company that owns everything. I don't want to have a website called Big Hangry Media.
Yes. Yeah, you're doing enough, right?
Right.
And I think that's the thing too. Are you familiar with closing the loop? Like
Not
closed loop
exactly.
marketing?
Yeah.
I think it's a term John Jantsch created, and I read about it on oh my gosh, Copy Blogger, I think. Um, and when I read about it, it really resonated with me because so many of us are creatives. We want to just send it out, right? But what we really want to do is create a closed loop. Like, here is the cycle that I walk through with each piece of content. I have the idea, I execute on creating the content. For me, there's a step of doing keyword research to make sure my language is in alignment with what my ideal user is using. So, idea, research, creation. That's only like a quarter turn of the wheel. You then also have to publish it. You have to have all of the links within that content going out to their appropriate places out on the internet. You need to maybe produce social content around it to promote it. So what I like to think of is like if I'm writing a really long blog post, I'm chunking it up so that the first little bit is its own social post. And like you see people doing this all the time where they like drip out a single post and each post is on social is pointing back to the same piece of content on the website, be it a podcast or um, a blog post, something written, video, doesn't matter. But the idea is that we're creating a more cohesive, singular piece of content on our site, and then social is where we, for lack of a better word, bait the hook and toss it out there and say, hey, come back. Like, there's more. Like, but wait, there's more. Like, it's enough in and of itself to whet people's appetite. But if they really want the full transformation, they need to come over to your website. And so by creating that, you are kind of closing the loop on those efforts, right? Making sure that everything's optimized. You're putting closed captions on your videos. You're going through and making sure that all the descriptions on YouTube are highly optimized, include links back to your website, that the website post ends with a call to action, a singular call to action to join your email list, either by virtue of the fact that they're going to have a lovely opt in. So at the bottom of every SEO post is that DIY audit that I had mentioned. If you're reading one of my posts about purpose, then you're getting a different offer. You're being offered a list of core values because that's more in alignment with what somebody who's searching for their purpose wants to be offered. And the other thing that I will say is what this post itself kind of speaks to. Search queries come in technically four different flavors, but the two main ones that I focus on are informational queries and transactional queries. So, information, somebody who's searching UX and SEO, they just want help. They just want to understand what that means. And so, I talk about how when you think about the user experience when somebody types an informational query into Google and suddenly you're trying to sell them something, it's kind of like showing up naked on the doorstep at a first date. Like, don't do that. That's weird. Like you're trying to like force people into buying something when all they wanted was some information. However, a free offer, that's kind of can I buy you a cup of coffee? Like, hey, I gave you all this information. Do you want to like stay connected? Can we like go have a chat? And so it's a free gift. It's something that they can feel comfortable leaning in on without having to get out their wallet. Whereas I have a mastermind. When people are searching for a mastermind, they are looking for something they pay for. Masterminds are not free. We understand the value they confer. That's a transactional query. So if somebody's searching online mastermind group for entrepreneurs, that's a transactional query. It's the Tinder of the social of the SEO world, right?
Mhm.
Of the search intent world. They kind of want you to show up naked. Give them all the information about how much it costs. Give them all the information about your return policies, if it's a course or a product. Give them all the information about why you're qualified to teach whatever it is. Put a video there because if you hate my voice, you need to run away quickly. All of the things, all the questions that can be answered. Make this an easy yes for that person who typed in the search and probably has their credit card in hand. I see a lot of people show up to transactional query pages with like, but like, I'm going to hide my prices and I'm not going to tell you all the things you need to know to make the choices. Here's a free offer, right? They're like hiding the information that's needed to give people permission to just say yes. Like, just let the yes be easy. Let them pay you money. And that's where a transactional query comes into play. So you can optimize your sales pages appropriately if you know the keywords people are typing in and what mindset they're in when they type it. So for you with your mortgage approach, your approach to mortgages and the various services that you offer, those should all be linked here, right?
Mhm.
Um, I would love to see. Let me think. I think I have a page like this. So if you go to, I have a secondary menu for folks. I offer SEO services for small business. People know they're going to pay for SEO. This is a transactional query. This is a sales page. But I have two different offerings. I have the website audit and I also have coaching. And so when you click in here, so you can see, I could see you doing something like this with your various mortgage offerings. And then below saying, but if you have a question, I'm happy to help. And that's where you could put, if you don't know which button to click on, if neither of these is clear, then by all means, book a discovery call. Let's get on the phone and talk. I would love to walk you through how I look at this and advise you as to which product is the right one for you.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Mhm. And do you
Good.
help people fix their problems?
I do. I do. I don't do web development, I will say. I do that for myself and that's enough. But I have a couple of WordPress developers that I really love and trust. And they're reasonably priced. And that is like so hard to find that they're like
Mhm.
little unicorns. And I happen to know three of them, which is just fantastic. I send them people all the time. So I'm more the strategy. I have a copywriter I partner with who does SEO copywriting. So I do the keyword research and I come up with the strategy of what pages we're implementing, where, how the hierarchy is, like in terms of, I don't know if you noticed, but for newer sites, I don't do this for folks who have existing sites. But if you see these nested um, URLs, that's all done through categorization. And what it does is it gives Google extra information about what sort of bucket this falls under. So I also have a live with purpose one that all my purpose ones are nested under. So again, speaking to the bots and saying, hey, there are branches on this tree. This stuff is not related to this stuff. And that clarity gives Google clarity as to who to send, where to send people when they need help. So um, I do help with sort of quarterbacking all of that for folks and speaking to the web devs and kind of being the translator between a business owner who knows what their end goal is talking about, some of those more business oriented considerations and concerns, like, is our pricing appropriate? Like, I do talk about, like, the whole vision of where you want your business to go, and then coming up with a strategy that's going to allow Google to send folks your way at the right time and moments for them to say yes, and sort of positioning it appropriately. So, yeah, that's what I love to do. I love to help people sort of connect all the dots between the high level dream, the technical side of everything, and then also, speaking to the ideal prospect on the other side, because at the end of the day, we want to help, right? And when we
Right.
can't reach the people who need, like, I don't know about you, but when I hear, "Oh my gosh, I wish I'd known about you a year ago. I was
Yeah.
having trouble with this X, Y, and Z. I figured it out now." I'm like, "Oh, I could have helped you, like, do that faster and
Right.
possibly
Well,
better." So,
I'm
I
constantly called on
prefer
for that
that.
job for the mortgage stuff.
Oh, I'll
Um,
bet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the biggest, we're at 50 minutes. We try to
Oh
keep it
my
lower
goodness.
than that. Yeah, it
Sorry.
goes fast. No, well, I'll have you come back, and then Brian will be on here, because I also, the thing is the people who helped us create our websites, they did a good design, but for me,
Yeah.
there's just something not working right with it.
Mhm.
And that's what I could see. And it's the same with Brian's got a great one if all he's doing is speaking.
Right.
You follow me? That's what it's set up
Yeah.
for. So, and that's what he's doing right now. But what I have courses I want to do, right?
Yeah.
Credit and all that kind of stuff. And I
Yes.
can't add another page to my website. I mean, I could, but the way there's so many different things already going at the top, there has to be a better way of doing it,
Yeah.
is what I'm getting at.
So, hub and spoke, pillar pages, that's really, like, you'll notice you don't see the online courses in the header, because people aren't going to come to laurengaggiolli.com and be like, I need, unless they already know me, in which case
Right.
that's where the secondary menu comes in. But by and large, strangers on the internet, like, when you flip this switch and the majority of people coming to your website are people who don't know your name and don't know the names of your branded offerings, that's where, like, okay, I'm reaching people who didn't know I was the answer to the question they were asking. That's where you meet new people. And so if you can build the bridge there and just make it so clear, your next right step is to get on my email list, to join whatever, to purchase this thing. And you can have those living not in that really, honestly, most valuable space of your website. The headers should be for people to orient themselves and say, I'm in the right place. This is the person, because this person gets it. They know I need SEO help. Okay. I can go in and learn more there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Lauren, thank you so much for today. We're going to
It's
have you
my
back, as I
pleasure.
said. After, first of all, you tell me everything I need to do to my site. And then second, and then, just because people need this help, people don't know where to go.
Yeah.
I've had some help on it to this point, and they didn't go in and change anything. They just did a few different things inside that were done. There was some other there was some links and other stuff that wasn't
Yeah.
working right. And they did okay. I mean, they got it better than it was, but
It
there's some
looks
more.
lovely. I will
Thank you.
say, visually, it's very appealing.
Right, but it's just getting people there to do what I want them to do. So,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. We got to get you that.
I'm busy, but according to my website, I get no organic at all. But I
Yes.
get it from Google though, right? Not my Google business page, because my Google
That's
business
probably
page,
where people are coming from.
yeah, because my business Google business page is doing really well.
That's great.
Yeah, because
So that's
I'm
something
also
where you
putting
can embed
content
it.
on there daily, right?
There's the
Which,
difference.
yeah, which people didn't know. I didn't even know you could do that until a few months ago, and then now it's every day. It's got 3 things a day hitting it at least.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, that might be why you were getting the mortgage broker Modesto, California. There are ways
It was in my
to,
name.
sorry,
It's in the name
there you
on
go.
the Google page.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
it's on my Google page. That's for me. It used to be the lending company. I changed it and said I want it more. The guy did a mortgage broker Ed Parcaut lending for living. Because I said, what if I don't have lending for living anymore? What if I go to something else, or I could decide I'm tired of this. I'm just going to go work for somebody because I don't want to deal with people anymore. I still want to lose out on all my reviews. I have like
Yeah.
70 some reviews.
And reviews are really important for local. Absolutely.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Let's call it a day. But we're
All
going to
right. Sounds
definitely have you
good.
come back and do SEO part 2.
Sounds
Part
good.
deuce.
I'm here for it.
All right. I
Thank you so
appreciate you.
much.
Thanks for being here today. Don't run away either, because I want to talk
All
to you
right.
after we're done here.
All right. Sounds good.
Again, I want to thank everybody. Brian will be back on Tuesday. Lauren, thank you so much for being here. Go
My
check her
pleasure.
out at organicmarketingecosystems.com. And like I said, we'll have her back. I hope you learned something from today. I definitely did, but it was maybe a lot more than I thought we'd learn from today in one show. Well, there was a lot you threw out
Take
there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to know.
Yeah. And there's a lot more we still need to know. So let's have you come
Yeah.
back again. Thanks for being here. We'll be back on Tuesday at our normal time. And again, thanks for being here. Make it a great day. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.